simply just not performing comparatively to just plain old Outlook accounts. I'm not too sure if GoDaddy has access to certain low quality IPs that Outlook sells, because we've just, while it's obviously a lot cheaper at $2.99 or $1.99, we've seen that the long tail effects is it's not worth it in the end. So you're better off just getting core Outlook accounts and core Google accounts versus going down the GoDaddy plus Outlook plus GoDaddy and Google.
Yeah, so to clarify to all the people here, so when you get GoDaddy, you can buy the domains on GoDaddy, but don't use their Outlook.
Don't use their $1.99 option to go ahead and get it, because while it's cheap now, it will end up having an effect on you long term.
Yeah. So GoDaddy plus Outlook, separately, that's perfectly fine. You can do it. And then GoDaddy plus Workspace, is that fine?
Yeah, that's separately? Also okay. Yeah,
awesome.
That's okay.
People use GoDaddy, it's still good.
Yeah.
Smartlead founder approves it, so it has to be good. So
yeah, we use GoDaddy as well. We use GoDaddy. We use Porkbun. We use Cloudflare. Nice. Cloudflare is by far the best, simply because it's a bit technical, so not many people know about it. So they are completely untouched in comparative to the rest of the market. So if you can get around Cloudflare's disgusting user experience, it is one of the best that you can work with.
And at scale, I think with automations, you can set it up instantly. Like
you can set it up instantly. You can set it up. You can work with their API. They have a very easy and open API to go ahead and set up your entire MX record and so on and so forth very, very quickly as well. So that's the advantage you get with Cloudflare being an API first business.
Yeah, so apart from Porkbun, Cloudflare, and GoDaddy, is there something else maybe people can use? Because everyone wants more. Like,
yeah. I wouldn't recommend Namecheap right now, because I still think they're getting hit by Spamhaus. So if you're on Namecheap, just know that your domains are most likely blacklisted by Spamhaus. But do know there's a lot of literature out there where people say that blacklists really don't matter sometimes, and I do agree to some extent that blacklists don't make a big difference. But when you work with certain firewalls and certain companies that have very strict firewalls, those blacklists will make a difference, but not too much. I think it's hyped up a bit in the market, but it's not as bad as the world plays it out to be.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on, let's say, Workspace versus Outlook? What do you like more?
You've spoken to me today, I'll say Outlook. You speak to me next week, I'll say Google. So I've got no loyalty. I think it changes every week. Right now, I do know a lot of customers are a bit hurt with Outlook, with Gmail, because of the number of restrictions and how difficult Gmail has made it, which has led to people push towards private servers and SMTP servers and so on and so forth. But we are using Outlook right now simply because of the ease of setup. But we've got people who use Gmail and they have an absolutely good time, but they don't send more than 36 emails per account, including warm-ups.
Okay.
If that adds any sense.
If you compare, let's say, so what you're doing for your personal campaigns, or let's say the top people that use Smartlead, how many emails are they sending per day? So I think deliverability is really important. A lot of people here. So can you break it down for us?
With respect to the number of emails that are being sent?
Yeah, so per day, let's say, not including warm-ups. So what's the limit you would set in Smartlead, for example?
Okay. Okay.
What would that be?
Okay. So you don't want to be... So I'll give you the answer that you don't want to hear, and I'll give you the answer that you may want to hear. The answer that people want to hear is 50 emails per day per mailbox, including warm-ups. Ramp up your warm-ups to about 40 to 50 over a span of 2 weeks, and then randomize it after that. That's the answer people want to hear. The answer people don't want to hear is warm up for about 3 to 4 weeks instead, and then send out about anywhere between 36 to 44 emails a day, including warm-ups. Now, there's some people who do a 1-to-1 ratio where they do 22 warm-ups and 22 outbound messages. Some people do 2-to-1 ratio. I don't have any literature to back one or the other, but I do know that people who do 1-to-1, they do it after testing out 2-to-1, and they prefer the 1-to-1 approach better. I tend to do 2-to-1 on my side.
Okay. And there was a question here by Ali. So that was the second inbox domain hurt deliverability? So we have domain 1, and on that domain we have 2 users. Will that hurt it? Will it won't hurt it?
No, not at all. Our ratio over here is to base our recommendation cycle is effectively 10 domains per workspace, 3 to 5 mailboxes per domain, and then 50 mails per mailbox. That's the top to bottom flow.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
The reason is simple, is because unlike SEO, domain reputation is mailbox reputation is domain specific. And what that means is the 3 to 5 is nothing to do with reputation at all. It's just damage limitation, because if you lose one domain gets hit, one mailbox gets hit, all of them get hit at the same time. So it's a matter of making sure that when you do lose a domain, you've just lost 3 to 5 mailboxes at most, not more, not less.
Okay, so it's like a measure to make sure that the infrastructure.
Yeah, it's all an infrastructure game. That's it. Yeah, it's just damage limitation. It's not that one setup has more. What's it called? One setup has a better deliverability, gain over the other. That's not the case at all. It's simply a function of infrastructure control. The other thing, again, stuff that I was going to share with you all next week was around. You can do 2 things to measure your campaign success. I'll repeat this obviously next week, but one of the things is effectively a master-slave campaign. I completely gave up on open rates, 3 years ago, 4 years ago at this point. If you track it, good on you, but you
that's KPI.
Yeah, it's KPI, right? It's just like if you've got clients and your clients are obviously, they care about that, sure, otherwise it makes no sensible value. But I do understand that people do want to have a visual understanding of whether their campaigns are performing or the mailboxes are performing. So as mentioned, I recommend a master-slave campaign. So let's just say you have 10,000 leads. You split that into 2 campaigns, one without open rate tracking turned on and the other one as with open tracking on. And you can do 9,000 in the one turned off and 1,000 in the one turned on. The goal is to effectively work out which mailboxes are performing better for you. And then accordingly, so you can redistribute leads in your master campaign with respect to the performance of your mailboxes, because some mailboxes just perform better than the others for a variety of reasons. So that's one option. The other thing I can recommend is always to follow a 70-30 principle, which is always have 70% of your mailboxes being active in campaigns and 30% always sitting in a float for your clients. And what that effectively does is whenever you do have any mailboxes that do get burnt and affected in the 70%, the 30% is always available to protect you and, offload you off. So then you might have a question saying, all right, so does that mean I need to wait for 2 weeks to warm up my domain as soon as I sign a client? No, not at all. It's always worthwhile getting generic domains and then creating campaigns off those, or, starting up the warm-up process off those. It can be anything in your niche, right? Let's say your clients are in the beverage drink space, right? So you can always start off with max at getadrink.com or max at refreshments.com or whatever it might be, generic domains that you can use and keep them always warmed up. So when you sign a client, you don't need to give them a 2-week levy. You can always start off immediately. But at the time of signing the client, then start buying domains specific to them. And then from there on in 2 weeks, you can cycle those people out. Cycle the old domains out, the generic domains out. Yeah. So these are some of the things that you can do that we've seen people do that have good infrastructure to basically ensure that the time to value for the customer is immediate, and then any damage control is maintained and controlled very, very easily and quickly. Cool. Any other questions that I can answer while I'm here?
Yeah, so let's see in chat. So there was one question. So I have 2 SPFs set for a domain. Yep. Is this going to be bad for deliverability? So
no, standard policy frameworks are like you can have. It's okay if you. Firstly, why do you have 2 SPF set? It's a question to ask.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'll take that back. I don't know the answer for that because I haven't heard a situation where someone has 2 SPF set.
It's either like from Outlook or from Google.
Yeah, it's one or the other. You don't need the second one. Just choose one or the other. And no, you cannot have Outlook and Google within the same domain. It has to be one or the other because your MX records the domain specific. Or your mail exchange records, as they call it.
One more. So how does self-hosting compare to Gmail or an Outlook? Is there actually a difference if you have multiple, if you have unique dedicated
Of
Outlook?
course, there's a massive difference, but it's all about control and if you have the resources to sit there and manage an IP address, great. And you need to be extra sensitive with your lead list, ensuring that your bounce rate is a certain amount and so on and so forth. But if not, no, just stick to Google and Outlook. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for 25 years and 30 years or whatever it is. I would work with them. Only do self-hosted IP or self-hosted domain or self-hosted server if you really know what you're doing and you're doing it at scale.
Awesome. Yeah. And now there's another question here, but just a personal one for you. So for lead enrichment, you still use Apollo? Do you scrape sales apps? So what's your favorite?
Clay.com.
Oh yeah, so yeah,
I've been doing Clay for a long time. I'm a big champion of Clay. They're a fantastic platform because I get access to leads that no one else has. It's a whole allergic game of everyone selling to the same person. So you want to have a different database where you're selling to people that are not in the same filter, right? Like there's 32 people here. Even with the 32, you can actually assume that there's someone selling to the same people they're selling to. So you're going to be putting in the same filters, saying, find me people in the US between this to this, doing this much revenue to this much revenue, selling this much and this much, having this much in their departments, and lookalikes, blah, blah, blah. So you are going to be selling to the same people someone else is selling to because of your filter, right? And your filter then defines your personalization. But if you go with something like Play, which is more raw and natural, where it's basically based upon location, ratings, reviews, some sort of criteria that is separate off the typical Apollo experience, we've seen it to be a bit better when we reach out to customers because the warmth that we have when we personalize it at a certain way. It doesn't need to be super in-depth personalization. It's very at-scale personalization. That itself makes a big difference when we're trying to do some form of outbound.
Seen is we have a lot of team members, like group members that work in a specific industry. So let's say financial company. So what we always told them to do is get a directory. Let's say a list of banks, scrape it manually, and do all of that. Apollo filter is not the best, sales app is not the best, specific things. And I think that's the way you use Clay. You use specific filters. You find companies that aren't reached out to that much, and they only get, let's say, 2 emails per day. They don't get 50 per day. Yeah, so that's custom scraping, custom lead list building.
Yeah. I still think like if someone were to come and say, all right, if Clay disappeared or whatever, what you do, I would actually just generally get like hire someone to scrape stuff for me from Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
You're better off doing that than.
Yeah. So Snooze has a really spicy question. So in the lead gen community, there's a constant fan battle between Instantly and Smartlead. How are your tools built? What's your advantage, and why should we use Smartlead or Instantly and vice versa? So
yeah. No, it's a fair question. Look, I'm not gonna bash on those guys. They're great people. They're great founders, and they obviously know what they're doing. So I'll speak with respect to just Smartlead and Smartlead alone. Whenever people come from other platforms, whether it's Instantly or whatever else, they come towards us. They come to us when they have graduated a certain level of advancement. So Instantly solves a problem. We solve a problem. I think Instantly make it very easy to send out emails. So do we, but we make it easy to send out emails at an extremely aggressive scale. So we're built for agencies, right? But anyway, to not make it too politically correct, we have the most superior API infrastructure in the market. No one can touch us on that. And that's why a lot of people come to us. We have a completely white label experience, which means you can go ahead and pretty much paint the product to be exactly like it's your own product. And guess what? In a crowded market, when you're trying to sell to a client and you show to the client that you've actually built your own product, your own reporting infrastructure, your own reporting cycles, dedicated master inbox, and all that stuff, that is sometimes the deal breaker and what gets people to sign the dotted lines for you. The third thing is
special sauce.
Yeah, special sauce, right? The other thing is this is the only sort of I wouldn't say dig, but whatever you see they have, we've had for 6 months or 8 months before.
Oh,
I'll sort of stop it at that. So whether it be subsequences, whether it be lead management, whether it be sentiment analysis, whether it be anything with the master inbox, whether it be multiple categories, whether it be sentiment analysis, there's tons of features.
ESP matching.
ESP matching, yeah, I forgot about that. Basically, whatever you've seen on the other tool, Smartlead has had for 6 to 8 months.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, and yeah, our support team is obviously USP. We've got 7 people on the support team now instead of just 2 or 3. So it's 24/5, 24/6 soon, and the support times will be dropping from 17 minutes right now to about 3 minutes. So you're always going to have that. And your own Slack channel. Sorry, I'll stop.
Nice, awesome. Yeah. So while we on that topic, so I saw you mention WhatsApp. All that work.
So WhatsApp is going to be rolling out in 27th November. I think so. That's the date that we set. So that will effectively allow you to do a multi-channel outreach, where one of the steps will be an automated WhatsApp message that you can send to your lead, provided they have a WhatsApp number, which most of the world does anyway.
Okay, yeah, but for example, I think we talked about this in one of the voice chats. WhatsApp, it's more, people from Europe, from Asia, Africa. So for the US guys, I think iMessage is much more popular. There's certain tools that allow iMessage outreach. Is that in the gray zone?
It is in the green zone, but the thing with iMessage and SMS in general, there's a lot of privacy compliance issues that come into play. So you have to be very particular with the vendors that you work with when you're sending out SMSs, especially cold SMSs. Warm SMSs work fine when it's more subscription based or OTP based, but doing cold SMSs, you can get into a lot of trouble. So that's the reason why we've opted for WhatsApp right now, and not for iMessage either, because iMessage has the same compliance protocols as SMS does, at least under certain state. So yeah, it's more a legal thing, not a technical thing at all. But we are adding in something called voice drops, which is going to be a lot of fun. You can basically automatically send a voice message to a customer without the phone ringing. So that will be a nice little quick win. Yeah, ringless voicemails. Yeah.
And that's legit, because I saw some tools. It was like, is it compliant? It's not compliant. People were debating that. Is that okay?
No, that is okay. That is okay, because you're not giving them a phone call. You just send them a voice note. Yeah, it's not AI voice drops. It's just voice drops. You can put in whatever voice you want. It can be your own recorded voice or whatever it might be.
Yeah, but I think the reason why I was asking is, can we do a variable? So, hey John, hey Jack.
Yeah. No, not with the first version that we're going to be rolling out with.
Yeah, but there is a way to do it. I'll send you.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure there is. So I'd love to know. Yeah, send it through. Yeah.
So let's see. So just one question. So WhatsApp is, let's say, for the people in Europe, Asia, Africa. What would be like the US equivalent? Let's say, is there something that is on the roadmap?
It'd be iMessage or SMS. I don't know if we've got any Smartlead customers over here. Rabbit. That's exactly what I'm referring to. That's Clay. I don't know if anyone of you got the message that I sent out, but LinkedIn has done a heavy clampdown on a lot of people doing automation. So expect to get some messages from your favorite providers about any automation messages that's going to be going out. So since LinkedIn is becoming a bit of a troublesome area to work with, the alternatives are effectively going to be...
Yeah, we had the Hey Reach, one of the people for Hey Reach, Ilya, a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So they're getting very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. But luckily for us, LinkedIn isn't that big of an engine. Email is still the same place. The other thing that we are driving in the market right now is our own sending platform, so our own SMTP provider, but that will come down the road. But anyway, for the US market, iMessage and SMS would be the two main things. And obviously the main providers in the market are either bulk providers or something like Twilio. But with Twilio, again, you need to have a lot of compliance issues that come into play.
Yeah, it's such an issue. Yeah. And so You mentioned LinkedIn. Is LinkedIn still part of Smartlead or no? Like how is that working? No,
not anymore.
not scalable. Yeah, I think that's
No. It is. We spent 6 months building it, and I think we've got one of the best ones in the market. But we had some front and backs with their legal team, so we've had to go ahead and drop it. Basically.
We have one more. So from Rachel, thoughts on AI personalized first lines. So I know you have Smart Rider, right? That was before Smartlead. Back in the day, the OGs will know.
Back in the day, old days, yeah. So I obviously me and Line, the Line guys are great, but me and Line will always fight about who came first. I want to say us, but they're gonna say them.
Yeah, Hans. Is it Hans?
Hans Decker, yeah. Hans, great guys, right? Great dudes. We had a lot of fist fights. So, but they're a great bunch of people. Right? It's all in business. I would say they don't do as much of an effect nowadays as they did back then.
Yeah,
sending sending an email to someone saying, "Hey, I saw you went to this university. Good work."
The college.
Like, the fuck do I give a shit about if you went to the same uni as me? Like, makes no difference. Look, it'll always work. Like, Lemlist still tells you to go ahead and send personalized images.
Oh,
right?
But Lemlist is a whole other issue. Like,
they're a whole other thing. Yeah, but the thing is, people still do it, and it still works. So while we're in this space and we see this every single day, we're numb to it. It's still very fresh for a lot of people. So that's the one thing we need to understand: is the market is massive, right? So I would say you can still do personalized first lines at scale, but don't expect it to be the magic bullet that'll change your business. I can tell you by far the best outreach is very simple personalization, a straightforward identifier. When I say an identifier, is like, do you currently have this issue? Great. Okay. We've helped this person do this in this amount of time, spending this amount of money. Can I send you a simple, extensive case study on how we did it for them, if it might inspire you? Sure, send it to me. Great. Here's this case study. I'd love to explain it to you over a quick 5-minute to 10-minute phone call as to how we can help your company do this, this, and this. Sounds like an interesting point? Yep. Here's my Calendly or Calendly. Book a meeting. Let's jump on the call. It's very simple.
I like your hoodie. I like the merch, Smartlead merch. When will that drop?
Sorry, Smartlead. It's fine. So we actually have a partner program set up with a bunch of users. So if you've got good revenue, if you've got good bookings coming within Smartlead, send me a message on the Slack channel, and we're actually got a partner page coming up right now where we're going to be pushing a lot of customers. We obviously have a lot of inbound people wanting people to go and do sales for them. So if you meet a certain standard of revenue or a certain standard of positive replies, we'll effectively sell for you. Basically, a vetted partnership, and along with that, you will get a hoodie and a bunch of other cool stuff. Yeah.
Oh, the merch! We want the merch.
All the merch, yeah.
Yeah. So Ali asked, "What's an alternative to LinkedIn?" So email is fine. Okay, we have warm calling. What else would you do? So we have calls covered. We have email covered. What's the third thing? Fourth thing?
SMS, right? And then there's FR is not wrong. Cold physical email actually still works. But it's a bit pushing it.
Direct mail.
Direct mail. But honestly, the three mediums that people reach out to you on are either LinkedIn, email, or SMS on a professional note. The alternative approach is Facebook, right? That is the other fourth engine that you can go with. I don't think Instagram is the right place to go ahead and do outbound sales in lead generation space, simply because your audience is not actively using Instagram to go ahead and get poached to. Facebook is still used as a business metric. It's Facebook groups, or at least MyGen uses Facebook for that. So Facebook still does work. But even Facebook is quite restrictive with respect to the number of messages you can send out each day. Email still by far. Yeah, sorry, Ken.
Yeah, no. Sorry. I just wanted to add that what I've seen works, and I've tested this, is Slack outreach. So we were able to book one of the VPs from Liquid Death through Slack. Like, even the rules of the Slack were like, don't DM. But he reached out.
You did that still.
Naturally, Slack outreach, straight out people. It works. Not that scalable. Like, you get a VA to do it. but it can work really well.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, Slack definitely is an option if you can go ahead and do that on your side, and if you can scrape it. We know people scrape our Slack. WhatsApp is also a fantastic place. WhatsApp groups and stuff if you're part of that. But then most people have hidden news. But yeah, Slack's great. Slack is a fantastic spot. I tried doing that. It didn't work to the best because sometimes some people are not active on the communities. But if the active community is running, to your point, you can drive it and it'll push in some good revenue.
Yes, do you have any other questions? Sorry if I took up like part of the call.
No, please. Sorry about me being a little sniffly, guys. I apologize if it's a ick for anyone. It's we have the opposite weather over here. For reference, because I'm down south in Sydney.
Rabbit asked about the generic domain. So what kind of generic domains you like to get? So
I don't know. Let's say you're in the, like I said, you're in the sales space, so you can say B2B sales, revenue generator, revenue sales, business sales. We will drive revenue. It's random shit. It's just for 2 weeks, right? It's for 2 weeks, and effectively in that 2 weeks time, you're going to be using these domains to go ahead and also test the offer of your lead of your client. Sorry, and then right after 2 weeks, you're going to change it up to your own domain. What are underrated niches for okay?
Yeah. So before that, so you said warm up for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So back in the day it was 2 weeks, then it was 4 weeks. So now it's a month. So like we still do 3 weeks. So will that extra week have huge benefit or no?
So it was always 4 weeks. It's just that telling someone to wait for 4 weeks was not something people want to hear. So we always wait 4 weeks on our side, right? But because we've got a large volume of mailboxes, we can rotate towards. Will it have a net negative effect? Yes, I will send you. We're working on doing multiple experiments. We will push a report out to everyone and send it across to you guys.
Awesome. So underrated niches, cold email. That's what Snooze would like to know.
There's nothing like an underrated or over. I know this is a shitty answer, but genuinely there isn't. I would look at 2 separate customers' accounts, both targeting the same people, one having absolutely dog shit results and the other one, ready to buy a Ferrari. So it really does come
Lambo.
down to, or Lambo, right? It really comes down to your offer, your touch points, your persistence, and your basic copywriting and email infrastructure. That's it. If you don't have a good offer, it will not work.
You're a subject line, so top 3, top 5 that you really like. Not good questions.
Honestly, no reference. What I can say is just keep it less than 7 words. That's all I can say. Just keep it less than 7 words and you should be good to go. And don't run big paragraphs. Personalize it a bit if you want, use the first name, etc. But that's all there is to it. What I usually do when I do outbound is with the subject lines, I drive on the pain immediately. It's all about identifiers, right? It's how do you go ahead and call out an individual in a very crowded inbox. Let's just say if someone's reaching out to me right now and they know the stage of the business I'm at or what I'm doing, one of the things we're focusing on is SEO, right? So if your subject line was to say 3 backlinks from 79DR websites, cool, you capture my attention. It's a statement, but you sort of dangle what I want. So it all comes down to, again,
what's the intent of that company?
Exactly.
Will they know you're scaling or not?
Exactly. And where does that come from? It comes from where you scraped your information from.
Yeah, so use better data sources. Don't rely on Apollo.
That's it. So, or you can rely on Apollo. Don't get me wrong. Rely on Apollo, but just use the right signals, right? Don't just say, "Hey, I saw you're based in Sydney. It must be summer over there," right? You can use, if you really want to use the location, perfectly fine. You can also use the location with respect to, some form of personalization, right? And Yes, let's just take an example of a landmark, right? If we really want to go down that path, right, we can simply speak about the fact that, hey, I was about to come down to Sydney and try out this restaurant, or go on a hike on Maroubra to Bondi. Something very, it lets me know that you're from here, like something that is very specific to that location. And guess what? Who can do that for you the best? GPT, right? GPT knows the locality of every single thing and the local dialogue of every single place, wherever you are in different parts of the world, right? So just speaking the local dialect itself makes a massive difference.
Yeah. So tribal language, making it relevant.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's what I would do.
So how many follow-ups would you recommend? So on your personal campaigns or Smartlead, or what you've seen based on data, how many?
Five always golden 5. Some people do 7, some people do 11, but 5.
And the delay? So 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days.
2 days, 3 days, 7 days, 7 days.
Yeah, nice, awesome. Yeah.
2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. 2 days, 3 days, 7 days, 7 days, or 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 5 days. Skip Fridays and you should be fine. Skip Fridays, skip Mondays.
You don't send on Fridays.
For follow-ups.
We send every day.
That is fine. Look, all these rules, right, are just something to take with
tips,
a pinch of
strategies.
Yeah, just tips.
But I never knew Friday was a bad thing. People usually say don't send on Monday. No, because everyone likes.
So yeah, don't send on Monday, but don't send on Friday because people are usually catching up on a lot of work that is the staff. So Thursdays are golden, Tuesdays are golden. Wednesdays I don't have much data about, but Tuesdays and Thursdays are top.
Yeah, so look for these 2 days when you're reaching out.
Sorry. So what I mean is Tuesdays and Thursdays are good for follow-ups in the 5th follow-up when you're desperate to be like, please respond back to me. But otherwise, otherwise I don't discriminate. I send Monday to Friday. I even send on Saturday. I even send on Sunday sometimes.
Awesome, yeah.
But I send in the mornings.
Great.
I send in the mornings. I don't send in the evenings. I don't send too late in the morning. I don't send too early in the morning. So I don't send at 12 o'clock. For example, some people say, oh, let's send at 12 o'clock midnight or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in their time, because they probably are getting emails after that as well. So I try hit it right before they jet for work on the train, or they just land on their desk. So it's all about putting yourself in that person's shoes, right? Who are you trying to sell to? If you're trying to sell to the founder of a company, you know that they're probably going to have meetings 10 o'clock onwards, and they're looking at their mail somewhere between 6 to 9. So that's probably when you want to hit them the most, right? If you're selling to the person who's in the sales VP space, they're probably going to have a shit ton of meetings in the morning, and they'll free up reading in the afternoon, right? So it's all about putting yourself in that place and simply just figuring it out. I know it sounds redundant, but honestly, these are the things that work. If I'm sure all of you have friends, ask a friend. Be like, hey, what does your calendar look like? I do that, right? When I'm selling to project managers and selling to salespeople, I call my friends and ask them like, yo, what is your calendar? Can you share me your calendar? and you can easily figure out what works.
Yeah. And while we're talking about calendars, is still Calendly the best? Do you use something else? So TidyCal, Chili Piper?
I use cal.com. I use cal.com because it's much better than Cal. It's got a better reputation than Cal on a domain level. A lot of people use Calendly. And it's got a lot of automations. It's very underrated, and it's got a lot of automations. So if anyone books a time with me, they probably book a time with me on cal.com.
Yeah. So Walid, he has one question. So he now has, I think, one sequence. So first email, let's say, and then 4 or 5 variants. So you do he does ABC split testing, and then how does it sync? I understand the question. So if he has, let's say, email 1 and then version 1, 2, 3, how does it sync?
So email 1 goes to email 1. 1A goes to 2A. So the way Smartlead works is it does a linear pillar. So 1A goes to 2A, 2B, 2A goes to 2B, 3A goes to 3B, 4A goes to 4B. But if you do 4 to 4, then it works in linear pillars. But if you have 4 variants in the first one and 5 variants in the second one, then it starts splitting up. So it just is a percentage modulus. So in that example, let's say there's 4 at the top and 5 in the second section, then the 5th email is going to be a subject of the first one. So 1A, 2D, right? And then it'll become 2A and then 1B, and it just flips across.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
But regarding the name used on the email, I don't think I understand the question with respect to the name.
It's like before the @ so you would
you can use Max,
no.
John, Kiara, whatever you want when you're starting off, but eventually you want to switch to the client's names. Yes.
And so when we're talking about that, so for cleaning the leads, so what do you use? So is it million verified? Is it list clean? Is it zero bounce? What do you like most?
All of the above. All of the above. Well, we use Findy a lot because his stuff works. I don't ask
Valentin
what he
good.
does. Valentin is good dude, very switched on. Findy works well. We initially were using Clay.com to do the verification, and it was actually very good. Turns out Clay was actually white labeling Findy, so same thing again. Yeah.
And what do you think about Scrubby? So a lot of people, some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. So in the catch-alls, is it effective, not effective? As someone that develops
it works extremely well for catch-alls, and I believe Nick is on it most of the time with respect to white labeling, and so he's very switched on with respect to some of the tips he's given me as well. So Scrubby works. It's expensive, but it's well worth it, especially if you're trying to do outreach on an Apollo database or something, because Apollo sometimes in certain markets has an extremely disgusting match rate, and most of them go under like unverified.
It's verified.
Yeah, right. So to protect and save your credits, I'd say Scrubby is a good engine.
So there's also one tool, and if you know Prospel, they also do some of that, but it's not for all of them.
Yeah.
So if I tell you it was a catch-all, but through their system, it's valid.
Yeah. So the thing to keep in mind with some of these whitelisting these catch-all tools is what these whitelisting softwares do, these catch-all firewalls do, is they will firewall certain domains. So the good thing about Scrubby is they don't use just Gmail and Outlook accounts to go ahead and send out messages to verify if it bounces or not, but they have their own domains. Because what some of these firewalls do is they will whitelist Gmail, for example. And a lot of these catch-all softwares that are cheap, they will use unpaid Gmail accounts, and it will come back with 100% hit rate. Because what these catch-all softwares have done, those firewalls have done, is they've just basically said, anyone who sends a message on Gmail, we're going to pretend that it's okay, but it's actually not.
Yeah, because that email exists. Yeah.
Correct.
It's like the sheets thing, when you're just like populated by people. I don't know how it's called. Yeah.
The chips. Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, that's only for like if a person uses Outlook, and it would know if they use something custom.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. That's basically it.
And what other tools would you use? So we talked about verification, sending, of course, Smartlead.
So if you want to start, I do have a Lemless account from back in the day. So if you want to start all the way from the left to the right, so when I'm finding leads, it's either Clay, Apollo, LinkedIn, SalesNav, right? Those are 3 classics. Some people use ZoomInfo, some people use Ocean.io. Some people use different scrapers, and there's a bunch of data sets that you can go ahead and use. You can use ME for LinkedIn scraping. You can use Find Email for LinkedIn scraping. There's 100 tools out there, but the 3 main things I use is Clay, Apollo, and LinkedIn SalesNav. Once I found my LinkedIn profiles or my email addresses, I would either use an email verification tool like Million Verifier if I'm trying to do at bulk, like 100 to 100,000 leads, or if it's a lower amount, I would use Findy or Never Bounce or Debounce to get my leads cleaned up. Once that's done, I would then go ahead and effectively use a Clay type experience, but I basically have my GPT 3 6.5 to 4 Chrome extension, and I go ahead and populate some basic. I clean up the company names. I get some personalization set up on using SmartWriter or GPT-4 on G Sheets. Once that piece is done, I effectively upload that into Smartlead, and then I use Hemingway app to go ahead and clean up my copy, make it sound as dumb, simple, and straightforward as possible. And then once that part is done, kick off the campaign, and then use cal.com for integrations to book meetings, and then subsequences to go ahead and drive positive, negative, different sentiment type of conversation. I have our own internal GPT-4 response engine, which we will expose to people in the next 2-3 weeks. So you can pretty much just forget about doing anything with follow-ups. Smartly will handle everything for you. It will write the emails and respond for you. But we do that internally right now using our own bot that will reply back to messages. And then, show up in the meeting. And then all of this is CRM controlled using HubSpot.
HubSpot, yeah. So you don't use Close?
I don't use Close yet. We used to use Pipedrive, and
Pipedrive,
and we have used Close in the past, but I don't know why we left it. I think it was just because of the integration we have with HubSpot was just easier for now. But we are adding our own Close integration soon.
I'm like a Close hater here, so I can't speak.
Okay. Right, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I always, tell them don't use it, but Gus.
Don't use Close. Okay, fair.
It's a beef between me and Close all the time.
Okay, fair enough. Fair.
Yeah. Worst dialer ever.
So yeah, man.
Call, and for dialers, yeah. So if you warm call, cold call, is it something special?
We haven't done anything special, man. Nothing there. I think some of the teams use Just Call. Some people use what's this other tool? I'll tell you. Hold on. What was it called? The team just discovered one of these guys recently. It's a green icon. No. Aircall. That's the one.
Aircall.
Yeah. Is it Aircall? I don't know if it's Aircall. I'll find it for you. One of my team recommended that, and we checked it out. It was pretty decent. I think it might have been just Aircall. I'm not too sure. I don't want to give you the wrong answer. I'll check and let you know.
Yeah. What I've seen is that some of them, like Dialpad, Dialpad is cool. I think Just Call also does this, where it can match the number. So if you're calling, let's say, a company in Arizona, it can match a number. So it's an Arizonian number. It's all like
yeah. It keeps it local. Keeps it local, because a lot of people end up calling from I get a lot of calls from the US, and it's almost always someone trying to spam call me and sell me some development bullshit. So I never pick up US phone calls. So it's always better calling local. Yeah.
And also for phone verification, we use, and I tell people you use ClearoutPhone.io. Would you use something else?
No, we use what was that company? Phone Ready Leads, but they got acquired recently, and I think they've been acquired, and there's some company now that owns them and says that you need to be part of their offering to do that. But I haven't used a third-party phone verification software. Phone Ready Leads would give us just a hot baked set of leads that were always verified.
Because a lot of people here, they want a cold call, warm call. It's the best tool to get the numbers.
I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that as well, to give you the right thing, to be honest with you. I believe Ocean.io does a very good job at providing very high quality phone leads, but I don't want to say that without trying it myself, so I'll take that back.
Yeah, I think Gus and I discussed, I'm still testing a bunch of them out, but it's not the best one. Still need to use multiple ones. Use Casper, use SalesQL, Seamless.
I've heard SalesQL and
it's only Casper.
So a lot of positive about Seamless and a lot of weird stuff about Seamless as well. I can't tell. It's similar to how you and Gus have this I love Close and I hate Close. Some people will be like, Seamless is the best software in the market, and some people say Seamless is a piece of shit. So it really comes down to you.
Well, like, honestly, just use everything, like
Yeah,
for everything,
yeah,
get all
yeah.
the leads. Like, when it's
That's
CRM,
my
it's
general
different.
note,
You would
to
use
be
only
honest
one.
with you. The CRMs and stuff use one because of that, but with these lead softwares, honestly, mate, like, just try them all. Like,
Pay for everything.
just try them all and see one by one which works and which doesn't work. Like, even with the whole Smartlead instantly thing, I'm like, guys, it's $94 each. Try it out and see which one works for you, right? Beyond just going down this whole
Some
fight.
people have a discount.
Some people have a discount, so just see what works for you and just go with whichever tool suits you best, right? Like, you don't need to go down this whole path
So
of I'm going to use this.
Yeah, so Connor made a great question. Is Inframail finally banned? So what? Are they dead?
This isn't getting recorded, right?
No. Don't worry. You can say
this
whatever.
this isn't recorded, right? Look, I hope for the best for those guys. I know they're trying to build something that's going to be market movement and stuff, but we just haven't had a lot of positive interaction with anyone who uses them with us.
Yeah, but as a developer, right now, is it flawed? So right now, if you want to use it, is it good? Is it bad? Like, as someone that develops all of this and knows,
it's extremely difficult to solve for, and I find it unlikely that it is something that can be solved so quickly. And I feel like right now they're patching to. They found like a nice little offering, and it's a very hot offering. A lot of people are jumping for it. So I think eventually the market will catch up. But for now, just by the way they've set it up, I don't think I'm the biggest fan, but I'm really hopeful that they do, change their approach. And I think they have, from what I remember, that they're now moving to Azure in their partner program, and Azure's partner program is a lot more stable than whatever disgusting thing they're using beforehand. So I'm hopeful that they will improve. But to answer your question in a non-political way, is Inframail no longer supported in Smartlead? Yes, if you raise a ticket on Smartlead with Inframail, I will say sorry, thank you, goodbye.
And for Superwave, what are your thoughts about that?
So some people live by it, some people say, I will not use it. But I can tell you this, the people who live by it, I would look at the results and be like, what the fuck? How did you do that? And some people who tried it and it didn't work for them, I'm like, yep, expected from like a private SMTP provider. But those that have done well,
I never understand why people use them. Like, buy the inboxes, set them up, get someone to do it, automate it at the end of the day.
Yes. I think everyone's trying to find that lazy, cheap way to get stuff happen. But from what I know, they're not cheap. They're quite expensive from what I've been told. We obviously integrate with them quite well, but what I've been told, they are on the more expensive side. But like I said, those who swear by them absolutely crush it, and I know it because I see the data. And some people who use them have some of the worst results possible. So I think it's not a function of them, it's a function of you getting hundreds of mailboxes all of a sudden with no limitations, and you just start spamming like a douchebag. I think it's a function of that.
So that's it.
Awesome, guys.
Chat.
Awesome. I reckon we'll still catch up next week, obviously, and go through the presentation, and you might have some more questions over there, and hopefully feel better and more energetic. Sorry if I sounded like my usual voice is like this, and I'm a lot more energetic. So I apologize for being. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll let you all enjoy your day. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you staying back, and I apologize for not being prepared. That is completely on me. I will make up for it next time. Have a great day. It was fantastic. I'm great to be part of this community. So please tag me if you have any questions. I will always try my best to answer them for you to the best level that I can. All the best, team. Have a good day, and
thank you for joining.
Cheers all.
I hope you get well soon.
Yeah, see you next week. See you next week, same time. Bye.
Oh, some beef with
Oh,
wheels. Oh.
I didn't upload
Oh.
that. I didn't upload that. All right, boys and girls. See y'all. Bye, team.
But he
Cheers.
left us. I have to be honest. He left us. Niels left.
All right. Cheers all. Bye. Bye.
Oh, don't post this on my Twitter. you're gonna start like a new beef again with instantly a smart lead. Yeah, we'll post it on my Twitter.